I have Notre Dame's new defensive coordinator sitting with me right now. Mike Elko joins us on the program. Mike, your first signing day here at Notre Dame, and I know it's always a bit of a relief for coaching staffs when you go through signing day like this one and there are no surprises.
Yeah, the biggest thing you're hoping for today is a stress-free, surprise-free day, and so far it's been that, which has been exciting.
And I know pretty soon, if not already, your attention goes right to 2018 from a recruiting standpoint. How important is today and kind of the momentum you generate today to take that and translate it into what comes next in terms of getting next year's kids in?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think the 2018s right now are watching all around the country and trying to see who finishes strong and who finishes with a bang, and that'll kind of start the groundwork for next year.
I'm sure every program handles this a little bit differently. One of the things I like about the signing day atmosphere here at Notre Dame is when you guys are in the war room and you get the kid on the phone and you kind of officially welcome him, and you can feel the intensity and the emotion with the coaches, and you feel it with the kid and what a big day it is for him. Can you put into words kind of how that feels like from your chair?
Yeah, I mean it's the culmination of so much work, right? And you've built so much equity with these families to kind of take their children into your program that you want that to continue. And so on signing day, you want to show them, hey, we're all here for you. We're all here for you throughout the process, and that's part of it.
It's the nature of recruiting that kids change their mind. Sometimes they change their mind and leave. Sometimes they change their mind and come here. And there were a few instances of that. Particularly, I have a young man, Jordan Genmark-Heath, who was committed to another program, who has now decided to come here at Notre Dame. And Brian Kelly was telling me that a big reason why was that he was excited to play in your system.
Yeah, I think Jordan was a kid that we really targeted early when we got here, and thought he was a great fit. Thought he was a great fit from a football standpoint, and then had to go to work quick and build a relationship. Right, that's the biggest thing, is try to get him and his family comfortable with coming here and playing for us, and we were able to do that, and in the end, close it.
As you assess his skills, what it is about him, the football player, that you think makes him good to play in your defense?
Yeah, I think his size and speed ratio is exceptional. I think he's a 205-pound kid who runs exceptionally well back there, is very physical, covers a lot of ground, and so he fits a lot what we're looking for.
Another kid that's in this signing class that's high profile is David Adams, the linebacker out of Pittsburgh. I know you guys are excited about him. As you think about him as a football player, what stands out?
Just his ability to read and diagnose the game. It looks like he's been playing linebacker his whole life. He sees things really well, fills things very quickly, is very physical, and comes from a program that's had so much success over in the Pittsburgh area, and so he's a winner by nature.
He's got a history of playing on the inside. This program recently has had outstanding middle linebackers when you think about Manti Te'o and Jalen Smith most recently. Big shoes to fill. I don't want to put too much on a young man, but how important is a solid middle linebacker in order for you to do what you want to do?
Yeah, I think it's really important, right? That guy that can cover things up and can make plays and then has the ability to blitz and create disruption. That position is a huge playmaker, right? And then there's that leadership component of it, where the middle linebacker has to control the defense, has to be the guy that everyone's looking to. And that you've had some great ones. I think we have a great one in the system right now, and hopefully David's the next.
I'm going to ask you a question that'll probably be difficult to answer, but your defenses have been at least to answer quickly, but your defenses have been very good recently in terms of generating turnovers and getting pressure on the quarterback. In so much as you can, how do you make that happen?
Make it a priority, right? It is probably the quickest way to do it. I think we spend so much time teaching our kids how to disrupt the quarterback, and whether it's putting a hand in his face, whether it's hitting him, whether it's how we blitz and move him out of his launch point. Everything in this game nowadays starts with making the quarterback uncomfortable, and so that becomes a priority. However, we got to get it done. We got to find ways to do it. And that'll be a big thing in spring.
You can do that in the front. You think you can do that in the back? You can do it in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to do it. However, right? The easiest thing is take 3 kids and have them rush the quarterback and do it, right? But if that's not working, then we've got to find creative ways to get it done, and I think we do that well.
As part of your mission to take this defense moving forward, you brought Clark Lee here with you. What about Clark makes him a good linebackers coach for your system?
Yeah, I think the first thing is Clark understands what we're trying to get accomplished, right? And so that makes it a little bit easier for these guys as they come in. It's one guy in the room that doesn't have to learn the system, right? And so that helps. I love the way Clark coaches. I like the way he works with the kids. I like the way he develops relationships. And then, he's just extremely good fundamentally of getting those kids to execute at a very high level and play very good football.
So often on signing day, we look at the incoming freshmen and think about what they need to do to make impact sooner than later. But it's unique this year in that all of your players, not just the incoming freshmen, but everybody on your roster, has some things to learn before they're comfortable in your system. As you kind of look ahead to spring football, what are kind of your most important orders of business in terms of getting all of those guys ready to play your football?
Yeah, I think the first thing is we've got to kind of get a vision set of what we want Notre Dame defense to be all about. And, we'll go to work on that immediately. And then we as a group got to try to figure out where kids fit, kind of evaluate their skill sets, where they're going to fit in positionally, put a depth chart together in our terminology of where kids need to go. And then you got to go to work on getting this scheme in, and get the kids to realize that we are very far behind from a scheme standpoint, right? These kids have never played it, and we got to get it up and running pretty quickly.
So certainly fast tracking that is a challenge. How do you suppose you go about doing that?
Work. Yeah. I mean, there's probably no shortcut answer to it. I think we just got to convince these kids to buy into the fact that there's a lot that has to get done, and they're going to have to sacrifice some things to get this thing where we want it.
Now, Brian Kelly has talked about you as being someone that's able to communicate his vision to his players very well. I'm curious how you do that and why you find that your method is successful in terms of communicating what you see to the players.
Yeah, I think it's probably just being passionate about what we preach. We just we really believe the things that we try to get accomplished, and because of that, it becomes very easy to instill it in kids. And try to develop a very consistent message. Try not to be up and down emotionally with them, as you go through the bumps in the road. We just kind of want to make sure that we understand where we're going and how we're trying to get there, and just kind of always keep the thing running in the same direction.
It's a bit of a fine line too, right? Because emotion is such a part of this game, and particularly on the defensive side of the ball, but you can get too high or too low.
And you got to realize as a coach that it's not going to happen right away, right? It's never going to go as fast as we want it to go. And so as much as we will drive it and as much as we will force tempo and force things to get going quickly, I think we've got to make sure we understand that we set bars that are achievable for these kids.
On your side of the ball, you've got two assistant coaches that have been here a little while. Todd for a couple years, plus he played here, and then Mike's been here a very long time. How has the assimilation gone in terms of taking you and Clark and the two of them and kind of creating a new team, if you will?
Yeah, I think you have great people, right? And so it starts there. Anytime you've got great people, it becomes an easy assimilation process. And I've enjoyed the time I've spent with Todd and Mike. And we'll continue to get in the room together and make sure we're all on the same page with everything. But it's been a good group. We've bonded well together, and certainly recruiting does that, right? As you're flying all over the country with each other and spending time together, it kind of helps.
Yeah, and then being here in practice will do that too. Since it is signing day, I'll ask you one or two more quick questions about the young guys before I let you go. In your experience, what's maybe the biggest obstacle that a 18 or 19-year-old freshman has when it comes to getting into a program and making an immediate impact? Yeah,
I think the biggest thing is these young men are going away from home for the first time, right? And so it's such an unpredictable thing, and we share this with all of them. There's this adjustment period that you're going through in life, let alone football, right? And so have patience with it.